Hello everyone, we are back from at Hello everyone, we are back at F1 Wizards with the second beginner module session starting with Windows Phone 8. My name is Hatim Nagarwala and I'll guide you through the whole session, which includes event-driven programming and how to start with the basic application in Windows Phone 8. So let's get started. In the first step, we'll just have an introduction of how do we use Visual Studio, what are the things involved in it for making an application, and how can we start with making a simple basic application for Windows Phone 8. So let's get back to my screen and start Visual Studio. I have the Visual Studio Express edition for Windows Phone, which you can get free by going to msdn.com, and you can have the Windows Phone 8 SDK with it. So I just start with Visual Studio, and here what I'll do is now you can see the Visual Studio has been started, and on the left hand side you can see there are three things, that is a new project, open project, and connect to Team Foundation server. For now, just concentrate on these two things, that is a new project and the open project. Here, if you're starting a new application, you can start with the new project, or if you want to open an application, you can open with a existing application which you made last time. This one introduction we have seen in the last session, so we'll just skip this out and start with a directly new application which we consider as a Windows Phone app, and just change this name to Hello World. As you know, whenever we start learning a new technology or a new language in our computer terms, we start with a basic Hello World application which gives us a hold on building that application. So I just click on OK. Now as you have seen, we are actually making for a Windows Phone 8 OS, so we'll be selecting Windows Phone 8, not the Mango version. So click on OK. It takes some minute times to get loaded with all the repositories and files which are actually included in our project. So now you can see that there is a phone layout on the left hand side, and this is the phone layout over here, and we have some red and blue lines squizzled out there on the right hand side. This is nothing but called as a XAML code, that is the Extensible Application Markup Language, which helps to actually design our application. And the best part in this is the UI window and this XAML part are totally interrelated. So whatever things you do inside your XAML will be reflected to your layout page, or whatever things you do on your layout page will be reflected back to your XAML page. So just have a look over here. Here you can see a grid panel over here which is right now empty, and whatever things will be adding over here, you can see what are the changes which can be seen directly over here. So now as we are making a basic application, and before that we have just have an introduction, so what we'll do is I'll just guide you through some of the things which will be needing it in building this application. So first thing is toolbox. The toolbox contains all the tools which you need to make this application. So what you need to do is just drag it, drop it onto the screen, and use it in your application. So we'll just have an detailed discussion about this toolbox in the coming sessions. Moreover, we have something called as a solution explorer, which displays all the files which we have included in our application. Not we have, but when you created a new project, but at that time the files were added. So we need to concentrate right now on this file, which is the main page.xaml file. This file will be needing will be the most important file which we'll be using it in our application building process. So there are two files, you can see that there's a XAML file and there is a .cs file. .cs stands for C#. So we'll be writing the code behind the C# file, and the designing part will be done in the XAML file. So let's come back to our presentation. The next step is starting with event-driven programming. So what do you think an event-driven programming would be? It is so simple. You use events in your day-to-day activities. For example, you want to switch on a fan. What will you do? You'll just go switch on the button, and that time the fan switches on. Is that so? The fan switches on its own? No. Same way, if you want to start your PC, what do? You click on the power button so that your PC starts. You can correlate this same thing into our application development process, is that whenever you do something, whenever you trigger something or the other into your application, something should happen. For example, if you click a button, some text should be displayed onto the screen. This type of programming or this type of architecture which we are using is called as a event driven programming. So right now in Windows Phone 8 we'll be using this kind of structure, that is event driven structure, wherein we'll be calling some events, and according to that event something should happen into our application, and that will be done in Windows Phone 8. So this event driven programming is divided into two parts. That is, first thing is event selection. For example, as I said, if you want to switch on the fan, the event selection over here is a button, right? So a button click will decide whether to switch on a fan, whether to switch off a fan. Okay, this is the first part, that is the selection of the event which you want to trigger. And the second thing is event handling, that is how to handle that event. For example, now I have all the switches ready in my home, but if I don't handle the events, that is if I want to click the first button and start my fan, so I have to do the wiring inside that, so that when I click the button the fan should switch on, or when I switch off the button it should be switched off. So that handling or the logic behind what should be done on that clicking of that button should be done by us. So this thing is the event handling part, that is this one, is nothing but writing your code behind or writing a logic what actually you want to do when the button is clicked or when the event has been fired. So I think of that, I assume that you are very much like familiar with now what is event driven programming. So let's jump on to a simple application of Hello World, in which I'll demonstrate how event driven programming is being occurred, and how do we use this how do we make an application of a Hello World inside our environment. So let's get back to our Visual Studio. Yeah, so as you can see, we are back to our Hello World project, and now the basic thing which we want to do is print Hello World onto the screen. So what I do is I just manage some of the simple things over here. Here I'll be using two controls. One is called as the text block control, which I am which is currently focused over here. And one thing we'll be doing is we'll be creating an event, so that whenever we trigger that event, the text in the text box should be changed. So what I do over now is the thing which we want to create that event will be using over here is a button, for simple reasons. When you click the button, some text should be changed inside my text block. So what I'll do is I'll just drag this text block and paste it to my screen. Okay, and now you can see that a text block has been added to my screen. And the other thing which I wanted is the button control. So the two things which I have added over here is one text block control and one button control. Now let's have a look on the XAML page. Can you see two lines of code was automatically generated as you dragged the control and dropped it onto the screen. So there was a text block control and a button control which was added while you dragged and dropped onto the screen, but you didn't need to add it manually inside your code behind. So this is a very awesome thing for developers to save time. But actually as per me, I'm very much more comfortable in this mechanism to write control over here in the XAML, and then when it reflects to your layout page. We'll see that in the coming sessions when you are very much aware of how this system works. For now, we'll just keep it simple, dragging and dropping controls and using it onto the screen. Now the next part over here is I just correlate this with a simple real world example, that is what happens when a newborn baby comes to birth. The first thing we do is we name that child, or we name that newborn baby. Why do we do that is the newborn baby should be uniquely identified in this world, so that we give a name to it and so that we can call him for any purpose we want. Same way, consider this, your UI page over here which is presented is nothing but a world, and the controls you are dragging and dropping onto the screen are nothing but the child elements of it. So what will we do is we'll just drag some controls, drop it onto the screen, and the second thing we need to do is name that controls. So there are two things, there are two ways in which you can name the controls. I'll list out the two things. The first thing is, for example, I want to name the button as something called as, first I'll name it using the properties window. So what I'll do is I'll just right click on it and go to the properties. If you cannot see the properties window over here, what you can do is go to Windows and click on reset window layout. It will ask for yes, and it should bring up the properties window. If it is not bringing up, there is one more thing which we can do. We can go to views and we can search for a properties window. So we have a property window over here, and now you can see that when you click on the button, you get the properties of all that button over here. So what you just need to do is you have to change the button name from this part. So let me give my name to click button and click on enter. So automatically you can see that something was added again to your XAML page, which is nothing but your click button, which gives us which gives the computer an information that you have named the button control as click button. This was one method by changing the name using the properties window. We'll see the second one, that is clicking on the text block and managing the name change using the XAML. So what I need to do is just click on the XAML page here and write down the name as x:name and specify the name. So I name it as display text. Done. I'll just rename it to display txt so that you don't get confused in the future parts. So here we have named both the controls. The first one was a button control, second one was a text block control. Now the UI is ready. You have to actually write a code behind file for that. Remember one thing, this is a video recorded. You can pause it, you can see what is going on, you can repeat it, and you can check out what all things are going on over here, so that it will be better for you to understand. So now very simple step to create a button click event handler. What you need to do is just come to your button and double click it. Sorry, I clicked it. Okay, so when I double click it, what will happen is you can see that event handler was generated, that is a block of code was generated in which whatever things you write between this opening and closing curly braces will be executed when you click the button. So what is the event handler name? That is click button underscore click. That is whenever you click your button, this code will be executed. Now in computer terms, whatever types of equations we write, whatever things we write, every time the output comes on the left hand side and the input comes on the right hand side. In normal mathematics, what you do is a plus b equal to c, but in computer terms you write it as c equal to a plus b, so that whatever is the addition value will be stored in the c value. Okay, so the same way here we need to display output to a text block which we have named as display text. So what we need to do is we just need to reference that, we just need to call that on the left hand side of our application and display whatever string we want. So I'll just write display text dot, we need to set the text property of it. So display text dot text equal to, I want to print hello world colon semicolon. Okay, clear? Here what we are doing is we are just displaying a hello world text into my display text which was there in the text group. Coming back over here, now here you have some options to actually emulate and see how your code executes. So either you can execute your code or debug your code on an emulator, that is 512 MB emulator, WVGA emulator, WXGA emulator and 720p, or a device. Right now we'll be using the WVGA. I'll just explain you later on what are different types of resolutions it supports and why we are using different kinds of emulators over here. So let's try and debug this application. Click on debug on the emulator. It will first build the application. You can see the status of that into your output window over here. Emulator is starting up right now. Once boots up, I think in the first session we have covered up with how the emulator works or what all things are involved in the emulator, so that it does not create any problems for emulating stuff kind of things for accelerometer, for maps and stuff kind of that. So let's start with this. It is first connecting to the emulator. It takes hardly 2 minutes of time, so it has been loaded up. Next thing is our application will be deployed over here. You can see the status over here in the status bar, that is deploying your application. Okay, so it is done. You can see a Hello World application being installed. It will automatically launch the application. Have to just wait for it. And now the application is being loaded. As you can see now, you have a text block and a button over here. Do you see anything happening right now? No, right? If you come to your room, the fan does not start automatically. Same way, you have come to this world, the text block text would not be changed automatically. You have to trigger some event, that is, you have to click the button. So let's see how does it work. I am clicking on the button and you can see a Hello World is been displayed over here. Awesome. Just run one line of code and you can see you have displayed a Hello World using the button click event handler. So this is how it was. Coming back to our application, every time you want to stop debugging your application, you can click the stop sign which is available over here in Visual Studio, and then you can start re-editing the code whatever things you want. Let's come back to our PPT. We are done with the first demo. So right now we haven't seen the text box control as of now, but I'll show you right away after this slide is being over. So we will just have a look on the controls we use. That is, one was the button control, one was the text block control. So you can see that why are these controls used. For now, just keep in mind, button control is used for clicking something. For example, if you have an application, if you want to have some button kind of controls which switches on, switches off, stuff kind of that, we use a button for it. Why we use a text block? Text block is mainly used for displaying some text onto the screen. Here you cannot insert, or here you cannot type some text inside your text block. So text block is mainly used for displaying some text onto the screen. On the other hand, I have not shown you what is text box, but text box is nothing but a control which takes the input from the user, and then that input can be used for anywhere. So let's come back and I'll just show you that demo right away. That is what we can do with the text box control. So what we'll do is I'll just drag a text box, paste it over here, manage it properly. What is the second thing we do? We name the control. So I'll name it as input txt. Click on enter. You can see that the XAML code has been automatically created over here, that is for input text. Coming back to our code file, that is the main page.xaml.cs. From here you can actually navigate through different files which you have, and instead of hello world, what I do is I just enter my name inside the text block and it should print hello plus the name I want. So where is the name I'm entering? That is in input text. So input text dot text. Let's see how does this look like. Right now, keep in mind, every time whenever you are done with one application, don't close your emulator. So just keep in one thing in mind, that is, every time you want to stop your application, you don't need to stop it by closing the emulator. You just have to switch it off or stop debugging using the Visual Studio itself. So let's try to run this application. I'll just execute it on the emulator. It will be done very faster compared to the last time, as you can see over here. Now you can see there is a text box control, there is a text block control and a button. Till you don't click the button, nothing would happen. So what I'll do is I'll just add my name so that it should display a hello to me, that is Hatem. Click on the button and you can see that it displays hello Hatem over here. Cool, awesome. So this is how we have seen three controls. The first one is text box control, the second one is a text block control, and how we use the button control inside that. For now, just keep in mind this much part, so that while in the coming sessions we'll be using all these controls again and again, so that you get used to this kind of controls and you can use it in your application itself. So for any questions regarding any of the things over here, you can log on to f1wizards.com/answers, post your questions, and we'll help you out over there to solve your questions over there. Thank you all. See you in the next beginner module session 3rd. Bye bye. Have a nice day.